Hey, it's Kevin. Welcome back to the Road Warrior. Just getting back from a trip to Indiana for the weekend. In fact, it's been a busy last 4 weeks as number two nephew, my wife's brother's son, graduated from college the first weekend of May. And we're just coming back today from the graduation of my number one niece, my wife's brother's eldest daughter, who graduated high school yesterday. And I've been to a few high school graduations, and again, as we were talking, mine was a long, long time ago, and I don't remember much of it, because in all honesty, it wasn't that big of a deal. And I didn't mean that big of a deal then and that big of a deal now. But I think the one thing that kind of gets under my skin is they always preach to these kids, this is like the biggest accomplishment of your life. Which, yes, at the moment it is, and for many, sadly, it's going to be one of their crowning achievements. But hopefully, it's just kind of a blip of the radar of life. Just a small little footnote that, oh wow, yeah, I graduated high school. Because so many people do it. Because hopefully you'll go on to college or go on to a trade or whatever it is, and you'll have success, and you'll have a wife or some kids, and or whatever, and you'll have many successes along the way. That won't be a crowning achievement. Does that make sense? And I hate how they make kids feel like, oh my gosh, this struggle for 12 years has been so real. And I joke, I've now lived in Nashville longer than I've lived anywhere in my nearly 63 years on Earth. Yeah, I've been here now, 17 years, it'll be 17 years in October. Which is longer than schooling, which is longer than from kindergarten to college for most people. And I don't consider this a crowning achievement because I've lived in the same place. Yes, school can be rough. Yes, school can be tough. It's easier for some than others. But it's one accomplishment, not a major accomplishment, or at least that's, I think, the message we need to send. Now, of course, I'm not an educator. Now, what's funny is my wife's brother and sister, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and my wife's brother's wife, my other sister-in-law, they're all teachers or administrators in school systems. And so I know it's different for them. But while it's important to acknowledge what an amazing, I don't want to say achievement, accomplishment it is to finish anything. It's great that you finish this, but don't think of this as something big in your life. Think of it as just a blip. Think of it as something that it's great and you did it. Now what's your next accomplishment? Now whatever that is, let's go on and do that. Let's challenge you to make that a big deal. As I joked, I know we had co-valedictorians where I went to school back in the day, 40 plus years ago. And one of them didn't even go to college, no big deal. And the other went to William & Mary, a great school, lasted a year, dropped out, and went to business school and became like a stenographer or something like that. And again, I haven't heard from these people in 40 plus years. I wasn't close to either of them. But it was like, good for you. And I hope they went on to a wonderful life. But just being a valedictorian or salutatorian or one of the class speakers or the class president or whatever it is, while it's nice to have on a resume, while it's nice to look back fondly and say, oh, wasn't that cool? And I remember my school years with fondness, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. It shouldn't be that big of an accomplishment. And things that you accomplish on the sports fields of high school are nice, but shouldn't identify you and shouldn't make you who you are. At least I hope they don't. Something to think about for all the grads in your life, or if you're possibly looking at that. And it's just one man's opinion. Again, I know my opinion isn't always what everybody else's is either, but just I find that kind of interesting. Back next week, another Road Warrior, kevinmason.us. All of the Road Warrior videos are there, plus on Facebook, plus on YouTube. We love doing them for you every week, and I'm glad I was able to get back and get this one to you on time, because I didn't have anything in the can ready to go. So, see you next week for another Road Warrior. Thanks.